So I wanted to show you a recipe today that's one of my favorites. It's a peanut ginger sauce, and I put it on oyster mushrooms, and there's like green beans, and then I serve it up with a little bit of black beans and rice on the side. It's one of like my go-to plant-based recipes, so I'll show you guys today how easy it is to make, and I'll leave a recipe link down in the description of a full like written out recipe as well with all the ingredients I used. But let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to make black beans in the Instant Pot from dry. All I do is I take a cup of black beans and then I pour in 3 cups of water. And then I set the Instant Pot to pressure cook on normal, high, and I do it for 30 minutes. And normally I do it before I start cooking it, but I forgot. So we're gonna do it now. And you can also like double the recipe if you want. So normally I put like 2 cups and then like 6 cups of water, that type of thing. It's really easy to kind of scale up or down depending on how much you need. So I might put an extra cup of beans in there, and then I'll put another 3 cups of water, and then we'll start that. So after they finish cooking and the timer beeps, then I release the steam and dump the excess water out by putting them into a colander, and I just kind of wait for them to cool down inside of the colander, and then I'll serve them just like that. No seasonings or anything, just plain black beans, and the dish will season it enough. I've got an onion here, some garlic, a little bit of ginger, and then I'm just heating up the stove with a bit of vegetable oil as well. And I'm gonna dice these up, and then we'll throw them in the pan just to kind of create the base of the recipe. But you can see the onions in there. We're just gonna saute them for a little bit. For the ginger here, all I did was I cut off the skin. You don't really want to use the skin, it'll make it a bit bitter. But I just cut it off, and then I'm gonna dice this up kind of like the garlic there. And this extra little bit, all the like little scraps, make sure you save those so then you make vegetable stock. I just throw kind of the scraps into the freezer, but vegetable stock is great for lots of these different types of recipes, so you definitely want to save them so then you have your own vegetable stock you can make. And it's really easy anyway if you're cutting up these veggies as it is. I dumped the ginger and the garlic in there, mix it around, let that saute a little bit, and with the onions. This brings out a really nice flavor and adds a good base to your dish. Now we're going to cut up the carrots, and I peeled the carrots as well. I put everything in this pile over here, so I'm going to finish dicing these up. Now we're going to mix in the carrots and let those cook a little bit longer, and we're going to prep some of the other stuff now. I'm going to add some of these whole green beans. They're just like frozen green beans, but I like to add them sometimes, and they're getting a little bit like old and like freezer burnt, so I think I should use them up before they go bad. So I'm going to use these, and I'll throw these in just after the carrots cook a little bit more, but I'll throw those in, and then I'm going to start prepping the oyster mushrooms. So these are the oyster mushrooms. I'm just pretty much going to take off like the bottom part to have these a little bit more loose. So these are ready, and I will throw a bit of these, maybe a lot of them. Green beans are good. We'll just throw the whole bag. Yeah, let's just do the whole bag, because they're getting a little freezer burnt and we need to use them up, and they'll taste delicious. Okay, so I'll mix those in, and then we'll add in the oyster mushrooms. Let me get some light on that. There, right there. I just kind of chop them up so they're in like little pieces, kind of like I said, just little pieces. And now that these have been cooking down, I'm going to mix this in a bit. We'll let the oyster mushrooms cook a little bit more before we add the sauce, but it's pretty much there. This is how I make the sauce. I've got a little bit of Adam's peanut butter. I do about a 1/3 cup there. And then tamari, and I use vegan hoisin sauce. Be careful when you're picking out hoisin sauce. A lot of them have like fish sauce in them. So this brand doesn't have fish sauce. And then I use a little bit of lime juice. Sometimes I like to just add a little bit of hot water. It helps to thin it out, so then you can pour it over everything so it all gets coated. It'll just boil off anyway, the excess water, when you're cooking it, so it's okay to add a little bit. We added in the peanut sauce, and we just mix the peanut sauce around at this point because it's all cooking really nicely. You could turn up the heat a little bit just to boil away some of the water. I have it at about medium, but I turned it up to 6 there. And I just mix this around, and this will flavor it really nicely. And you could add a little bit of more tamari or hoisin sauce if you want to adjust the flavors a bit, but I find that the tablespoon of hoisin makes it sweet enough, and the tamari is just perfect at like the 2 tablespoons, because if you add a little too much, then you take away like the peanut flavor, and that's my favorite part. Like, I really love the peanut sauces I use for this. I'm going to finish cooking this, and then I will show you the finished product on a plate. So I almost forgot to add that we like to add mustard greens a lot of the time. Right now we're growing them because it's the winter time, and we just really enjoy the kind of spicy flavor it gives. So I'll show you them in the garden as well. We have 3 different types. There's a giant red one, a bosun one, and then a Mizuna one, I think is the other one. And they're just a really great thing to grow, and they're super easy. Like, they grow in most zones. We're like between like an 8 and a 9 zone, like an 8A, 9B, and they grow really well here. And so this is kind of just our little winter garden patch out in our backyard. You don't need a lot of space to grow mustard greens or any sort of salad greens for that matter. So this is kind of just our little patch, and it's just in fabric pots. It's super, super simple. So definitely try it out if you want to add some like fresh greens like this that you can't find in the store normally. Okay, well, there is the finished product. I hope you guys liked the video today. And if you want to see more from us, just give us a comment or a like below. Let us know that you liked it. And check out my Instagram. I'm normally posting over there, and I give updates like when these videos come out. So I hope you enjoy, and bye.